The global food system is a miracle. It feeds 8 billion people. It moves food from regions with surplus to regions with deficit. It turns sunlight, water, and soil into calories efficiently enough that most of humanity does not think about food security. But this miracle is built on foundations that are cracking. And when those foundations break, the food system breaks with them. This is not a distant threat. This is happening now. And the consequences will reshape civilization. Here is the reality. The modern food system depends on 6 things: stable climate, fresh water, healthy soil, synthetic fertilizer, fossil fuels, and global trade. Every single one of these is under stress, and several are approaching collapse. Let me walk you through each: what is breaking, why it matters, and what happens when it fails. Foundation 1. Stable climate. Agriculture is climate. Crops grow in specific temperature ranges. They need predictable rainfall. They need stable seasons. For 10,000 years, human civilization developed during a period of unusual climate stability. The Holocene, a warm, stable interglacial period perfect for agriculture. This stability is ending. Global temperatures have risen 1.2 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times. We are heading toward 2 to 3 degrees by 2100. That does not sound like much, but agriculture is exquisitely sensitive to temperature. Comment trigger. 1 degree sounds like nothing until your crops die. At 2 degrees warming, crop yields fall 10 to 25% in major growing regions. At 3 degrees, the breadbasket regions that feed the world, the U.S. Midwest, Ukraine, northern India, become unreliable. Heat stress kills crops. Droughts become more frequent and severe. Rainfall becomes erratic. You get floods one year, droughts the next. Farmers cannot plan. Crops fail. And the regions most vulnerable are the regions that feed the world. The U.S. produces 40% of global corn and soybeans. If the Midwest experiences repeated crop failures, global food prices explode. In 2012, a single drought in the U.S. caused global food prices to spike 30%. That was 1 year. One region. Imagine this happening repeatedly, across multiple regions, simultaneously. This is not hypothetical. This is happening. In 2022, heat waves across Europe, India, Pakistan, and China caused massive crop failures. India banned wheat exports to protect domestic supply. Global wheat prices surged. In 2023, droughts in Spain and Italy devastated olive and tomato crops. European food production fell. These are not anomalies. This is the new normal. Climate instability is permanent, and it is accelerating. The second-order effects are worse. As growing regions fail, countries stop exporting food. They hoard. In 2007 to 2008, a global food price crisis emerged. Rice prices tripled. Over 30 countries restricted food exports to protect domestic supply. Food importing countries faced shortages and riots. Egypt, Haiti, Bangladesh, and others experienced political instability triggered by food prices. That crisis was mild compared to what is coming. As climate stress intensifies, export restrictions will become the norm. Food nationalism replaces free trade, and food importing countries face starvation. Foundation 2. Fresh water. Agriculture uses 70% of global fresh water. Without irrigation, modern yields are impossible. But water is running out. Aquifers are being depleted. Rivers are drying up. Glaciers that feed rivers are melting. And demand is rising. We covered water scarcity in episode 12. But let me connect it specifically to food. The major grain-producing regions all depend on water that is disappearing. The U.S. Midwest draws from the Ogallala Aquifer. Water levels have dropped 100 feet in some areas. The aquifer is being depleted 10 times faster than it recharges. Once it is gone, irrigation in the Great Plains becomes impossible. Yields will collapse. India pumps groundwater to grow wheat and rice. Over half of India's aquifers are in critical condition. Pakistan is worse. Both countries face agricultural collapse within 20 to 30 years as groundwater runs out. China's North China Plain grows 50% of China's wheat. The region is depleting aquifers rapidly. China is aware of this. China is desperately building water infrastructure. But the math does not work. Demand exceeds supply. And climate change is making it worse by reducing rainfall and increasing evaporation. The Colorado River supplies water to 40 million people and vast agricultural areas in the U.S. Southwest. The river is at historic lows. Lake Mead and Lake Powell, the reservoirs that store Colorado River water, are at 30% capacity. If these reservoirs drop below critical levels, millions of acres of farmland lose irrigation. Food production collapses. The U.S. Southwest, California Central Valley, Mexico's agricultural regions, all are facing water crises. And water conflicts are intensifying. States and countries are fighting over river allocations. These conflicts will escalate. Water wars are coming. And when water runs out, so does food. Foundation 3. Healthy soil. Soil is not dirt. Soil is a living ecosystem. It contains microorganisms, organic matter, and minerals that plants need. Healthy soil retains water. It supports root systems. It regenerates nutrients. Industrial agriculture is destroying soil. Monoculture crops deplete nutrients. Tilling erodes topsoil. Chemical fertilizers kill soil microorganisms. We are mining soil, and soil does not regenerate quickly. It takes centuries to build an inch of topsoil. We are losing it in decades. Globally, 1/3 of arable land is degraded. The UN estimates we have 60 harvests left if soil degradation continues. 60 years until soil is too depleted to grow food. This is not a fringe claim. This is mainstream agricultural science. And the degradation is accelerating. In the U.S., soil erosion rates are 10 times faster than soil formation. In China, desertification is consuming farmland. In Africa, soil depletion is already causing crop failures and famine. Common trigger. We have 60 harvests left. That means your grandchildren might starve. The industrial agriculture model is unsustainable. It depends on continuously adding synthetic inputs, fertilizers, pesticides, to compensate for degraded soil. But this creates a dependency trap. The more fertilizer you use, the more you kill soil biology. The more you kill soil biology, the more fertilizer you need. Eventually, the soil becomes so degraded that even massive fertilizer inputs cannot sustain yields. You get diminishing returns, and then collapse. Some regions are already there. Yields are plateauing or falling despite increasing fertilizer use. This is the definition of unsustainability. Foundation 4. Synthetic fertilizer. Modern agriculture depends on synthetic nitrogen fertilizer. This is not optional. Roughly half of the world's food production depends on synthetic nitrogen. Without it, yields would collapse by 40 to 50%. Half the world would starve. Common trigger. Half of humanity exists because of synthetic fertilizer. If it stops, half die. Synthetic nitrogen fertilizer is made using the Haber-Bosch process. This process takes nitrogen from the air and combines it with hydrogen to create ammonia, which becomes fertilizer. The problem: the Haber-Bosch process requires enormous amounts of energy. It uses 1 to 2% of global energy supply, and that energy comes from natural,